From 1959 to date, elections have remained a recurrent decimal in Nigeria's democratic process, where citizens exercise the right to vote and be voted for. As a sovereign entity, every effort is geared towards a free and fair process of electing political leadership at all levels, which provides room for supplementary polls for justice to be served in the case of irregularities. Again, political parties locked horns in 24 states' supplementary elections held in 2,660 polling units and 185 local government areas across the country, as 2 governorship and 94 legislative seats are set for grabs. INEC, on its part, has assured Nigerians of a free, fair and credible supplementary elections, which will draw the curtains on what is considered the most intense and competitive election in the nation's history. Now, elections in the affected areas were declared inconclusive due to violence, voter intimidation, or situations where the collated vote margins between the winner and runner-up are less than the cancelled votes, like the governorship elections in Adamawa and Kebbi states. Now, from reports reaching us, it has been a mixed grill of voter participation as the electorate goes to the polls for the 3rd time to decide who represents them. How did the process go? Is the wait over? Have the expectations of voters been reached? Well, these are issues for discussion this week on NTA Weekend File. And my guest is Festus Okoye, Commissioner, Information and Voter Education, Independent National Electoral Commission. I am Jummai Yusuf. Let's get the news. Some smiling, others waiting. That is the situation currently among candidates participating in the supplementary elections in 24 states. Now, Mayor Ogidi reports on the exercise.
Not all elections are equal. Some are more equal than others. 2 governorship, 5 senatorial, 31 House of Representatives, 58 state houses of assembly elections on a supplementary journey. In all, the 2 governorship elections standing out. In Adamawa State, PDP and APC jostling for 37,000 votes to settle a difference of 31,000, while in Kebbi State, 91,000 prized votes up to settle a 45,000 difference. Election materials arrive early in some polling units, while in others slightly late. And in terms of voters' turnout, a mixed reaction.
Presidential election, it was crowded. During the governorship, it was crowded. Actually, just this one is just a single election.
In Kebbi, the turnout has been quite impressive. There is election in their polling units, so it's not taking place in every polling unit. So our publicity was targeted at the places where elections will take place today.
Rivers is actually very on point. It took us a minimum of about, let's say, 50 seconds for it to go through.
Voting is over, counting is on, while governorship candidates in Kebbi and Adamawa states probably in a prayer mood, because it's going to be a mudslide victory for the winner and not landslide. Whether mudslide or landslide, the process must end this time around.
This is a supplementary election.
Right.
The main election has already taken place. So whatever the situation is, whatever the level of voter turnout is, there must be a conclusion to the process today. We cannot have a supplementary after a supplementary. So the process must come to a conclusion today.
And for the party agents, cordiality above conflict.
The agents have signed an agreement that there will be no any misunderstanding between them, and the process have gone successfully.
Just like my junior brother of the APC said, the conduct is fair, free and credible.
Having satisfied
results in most National Assembly and state constituency elections already out, but the victory in Adamawa and Kebbi states still being awaited. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
This Saturday, the 15th of April, witnessed the conduct of supplementary elections that were declared inconclusive by INEC during the last general elections in some states of the Federation. Olabode Arewa compiled some of the election outcomes from the senatorial elections.
Following conclusion of voting in some of the polling units across the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Yobe State has declared Ibrahim Mohammed Boumai of the All Progressives Congress (APC) as the duly elected senator representing Yobe South Senatorial District.
Boumai Ibrahim Mohammed of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed,
Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports that INEC had earlier declared the senatorial election in the zone inconclusive. Senator Boumai polled 69,596 votes to defeat Alilu Mazagani of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), who scored 68,885 votes. In Jos Plateau State, in the Yang, it reports that the INEC coalition officer for the Plateau Central Senatorial District election, Dr. Tim Chang La, has declared Diket Plang of the All Progressives Congress (APC) winner of the 2023 Plateau Central Senatorial District election. Diket Plang, who was a former member of the Plateau State House of Assembly representing Pangshin North, scored 131,129 votes to defeat Yohana Gotom of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and Garba Pu of the Labour Party.
Plang Diket Satso of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
Olabodarawa, NTA News.
As the curtain draws on the 2023 elections, some off-season elections preparations are just beginning, as Usman Ahmed Ododo, former Auditor General for Local Government in Kogi State, has won the state APC governorship primary election. Correspondent Solomon Ayedehin reports that this was ratified at the party's convention in Lokoja.
Usman Ododo is herewith, hereby, and heretofore returned as the duly elected governorship candidate of the APC for the November 2023 governorship elections.
That was the secretary of the 7-man Kogi APC governorship primary election committee at the Election Coalition Center in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. 17 aspirants declared intent for the governorship primary election, out of which 7 participated in the election at the party's election result ratification convention attended by critical stakeholders of the party in Lokoja. It was a resounding acceptance of the party's standard bearer by the special delegates.
With your support, our great party, APC, will be victorious in the next governorship election, and we shall consolidate on the gains of the new direction agenda in the state.
Governor Yahaya Bello, while congratulating party faithful for the rank-of-free primaries, egged them to shun sentiments and work assiduously for the success of the party at the November polls.
We will give him the maximum support to succeed.
He also charged the APC supporters to preach and continue to build on the existing peace in the state for the benefit of all. Kogi State governorship election is slated for November this year. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the immediate past Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timothy Silva, has emerged winner of the All Progressives Congress APC governorship primary election in Bayelsa State. Timothy Silva scored 50,061 votes to defeat 5 other aspirants to emerge as APC governorship candidate for the November 11th governorship election in Bayelsa State. Baratu Pere Awe has details.
The APC adopted direct primary, which held in 105 wards across the 8 local government areas of the state. At the end of the process, which commenced Friday 14 to Saturday 15 April 2023, the chairman APC Primary Election Committee for Bayelsa State, Major General Ahmed Jibrin, retired, declared Chief Tumepri Silva as the winner of the exercise at the party secretariat in Yenegua. The panel went further to conduct an affirmative exercise with 5 ad hoc delegates from each of the 105 wards to affirm the outcome of the process. Meanwhile, some contestants of the APC Guba primary have accepted the outcome of the polls, describing it as a credible process.
I don't think that there's anybody who is enchanted. I, for one, all things also good to them that love the Lord. Yes, I want to congratulate the winner of this election.
I will not consider myself as having won an election against fellow aspirants. No victor, no vanquished. And I adopt that in total.
The Bayelsa State governorship election is scheduled for November 11, 2023. In Yenegua, Bartwaipre Awe, NTA News.
Now, ahead of the inauguration of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Coalition of All Progressives Congress support groups have unveiled plans to offer free services towards the speedy achievement of the renewed hope agenda. Salu Gwanara reports.
One of such is the Progressives Advisory Forum for Good Governance, whose members say they remain resolute to ensuring the actualization of the contract between the electorate and those given the mandate to lead under the platform of APC.
As Nigerians prepare to usher in new leadership for the country, evidently, the people are excited because they have implicit confidence in the Tinubu-Shetima incoming administration, and so are positive about the great development the country will experience moving forward.
The coalition of APC groups is, however, optimistic that Nigeria's abundant human resources is a blessing towards fast-tracking and sustaining the country's democratic gains.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always been known for his ability to scout the best talent in governance and administration. Based on this, we have no doubt that he will make the best choice in assembling his team.
The groups affirmed that Nigeria's 24 years of uninterrupted democracy is a clear testimony of the collective will of the citizens to promote unity. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Now to the sidelines of the IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. Global value chains are the backbone of trade, owing to the fact that it makes up to 45 to 65% of world trade and helps increase the spread of income per capita of developing countries. Director General World Trade Organization Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala at the World Bank IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. emphasized on building resilience in the global value chain. Abolade Salami, who is there, reports.
The Director General of World Trade Organization, WTO, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, is calling for the diversification of global supply chains as global trade feels the bite of geopolitical tensions, sanctions, and restrictions. The WTO DG said in situations when global supply chains try to build resilience by not being too concentrated in one country or the other, there is need to see this as an opportunity to encourage them to spread to more developing countries, because this can be used as a force for inclusion and to bring even small, medium-scale enterprises and women into the value chain.
This study of West Africa, it showed that only 25% of the trade finance needs in West Africa are being met. This is below the average of 40% for the whole of the continent. And if we were to bring up the access to trade finance within West Africa to the overall average of Africa, trade in the region could increase by 8%.
Managing Director, International Finance Corporation, Magda Diop, is of the view that the moment trade facilitation talks between China plus Morocco, China plus Egypt, and China plus Nigeria is of focus. Global value chains can really be a force for inclusion.
I would like to make clear in people's mind that the momentum that we are trying to push is trade to fight poverty, trade to include lower income countries in the supply chain. But And the potential in Nigeria to develop the pharmaceutical industry is immense.
Panelists here agree that financial inclusion has spread over several countries, including developing countries, and this has helped create jobs and increase income. But more still needs to be done. From Washington, D.C., Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news, as Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation is doing everything possible towards the full institutionalization and operationalization of the performance management system in the public service by 2025. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi Esson, said this at a retreat for permanent secretaries on the performance management system in the public service. Hamad Jabani reports.
Institutionalization of performance management system, which is to transit from the use of the annual performance evaluation report APA framework, is aimed at providing a systematic process of planning work, setting targets, providing support to employers, and measuring results, providing the framework for continuous tracking of employers' performance in a manner that is consistent and measurable for development and improve workers' capacity and motivate them for increased productivity. The focus areas, among others, in the new PMS within the implementation framework of the Federal Civil Service Strategic and Implementation Plan 2021-2025 are to finalize performance measures at the individual and unit levels about key performance indicators targets, introduce regular performance appraisal and dialogues to obtain multiple source feedback, introduce a performance monitoring and reporting system, and implement an effective incentive and consequence management system. Others are introducing development plan that incorporates the employer's development objectives and components in performance plans.
The ongoing transition process of the country's governance further underscores the importance of sustaining an automated system of tracking and measuring performance. This is with a view of ensuring that an incoming administration has all the information it requires to get on with the business of governance.
The new and modern performance management system, which will serve as a tool for appraising employers' performance and the delivering of institutional mandate in the federal public service, will put the service at a path of sustainable and improved service delivery to Nigerians. The retreat is expected to provide clear strategies and develop capacity for the full rollout of performance management system across all MDAs. Hamid Jabani, NTA News.
We'll take a break now. When we return, more on Weekend File. Don't go away.
Are you a dealer in cars, jewelry, precious metals and stones and luxury goods? Are you into real estate, or are you an estate agent, surveyor, valuer, developer or broker? Are you into the hospitality industry, lottery business, or are you a mortgage broker, tax consultant, or an accountant? Do you have a supermarket, pools betting and consulting or construction company? If you have, go and obtain your certification from the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCUMOL, and be free to do your business within the ambits of the law. SCUMOL has the responsibility to monitor, supervise, and regulate the activities of designated non-financial business and professions, DNFBPs, across the country. Please note that the SCUMOL certificate is not a guarantee of legitimacy of any business. To register, visit www.scumol.org. For collection of certificate, visit any EFCC office nearest to you. Remember, registration is free.
SCUMOL, securing Nigeria's business environment. This message is from Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Honorable Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, formally invites the 774 local government chairmen, including the area councils in the FCT and other stakeholders, to a 3-day National Stakeholders Conference on Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs with the theme, Harnessing Grassroots Potentials for Service Delivery for Sustainable Development, the Proper Place of Local Government Administration and Intergovernmental Relations. Date, Monday 17th to Thursday 20th April 2023. Venue, Merit House, Maitama, Abuja. Time 9 a.m. prompt. Participants are expected to arrive on Monday, 17th April 2023 and register same day at the meeting venue, Merit House, Maitama, Abuja. For further inquiries, contact 0802 3353 796 or 0803 700 6584. Announcer Igwe P. Roberts, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs.
Sometimes before I step on stage, my mind gets clouded. But that's when I know it's time to take that deep, tum-tum cooling breath.
Population and housing census. Everybody get ready, well.
From the 3rd of May to 7th of May 2023,
the National Population Commission will be conducting a comprehensive population and housing census to generate reliable, sustainable, and up-to-date data needed for policy formulation, security, national planning, and development.
Population and housing census, it will make life better, eh? Because our government is the use of the
National Population and Housing Census 2023. It's your civic responsibility. Please support it. The 2023 Population and Housing Census is being conducted by the National Population Commission.
Personal digital assistants
PDAs will be deployed countrywide for the census exercise. Nigeria's 2023 Population and Housing Census. You count. Be counted.
You're welcome back. Inadequate funding to universities and the transparency or the otherwise of fund disbursement form the basis of complaints by the Academic Staff Union of Universities in addressing challenges of the nation's university system. However, at a media briefing to break down the 2023 intervention budget of 320 billion naira, the highest annual intervention in the history of the fund, the Tertiary Education Fund disclosed that it is meeting with ASU to put things in proper perspective as part of the transparency processes. Abdullahi Musa Sileja reports.
Its creation, the Tertiary Education Fund TED Fund has been impacting positively on the academic and infrastructural development of the nation's public tertiary institutions. Under what it calls Special High Impact Intervention, 32 billion naira will be disbursed to 6 public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education selected from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. On transparency of the disbursement process, the fund maintained that openness has always been its tradition, which is why ASU will be invited to be briefed and enlightened.
We are using the unions on our campuses. We are using the student unions. If you see it or you don't see it, tell us. We are also enlisting the support of the media. You all approach all around the country. Anytime you have any cause to visit any of our institutions, look around. If you see something, tell us. Our channels are open.
The beneficiary institutions to enjoy from the intervention this year include Ibrahim Babangida University Lapai, Federal University Wukari in Taraba State, Federal University Birnin Kebbi, Imo State University of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Edo State University, and the Federal University of Technology Akure, Ondo State. Abdullahi Musa Sileja, NTA News.
Let's talk security as the Nasarawa State Police Command has neutralized 3 suspected kidnappers in Asakio, Lafia East Development Area of the state. In a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer of the command, Rahman Nansel, the command received a distress call that suspected gunmen had blocked the Asakio Sabongida Road of Lafia East Development Area Thursday, 13th of April, and kidnapped one Ezekiel Luka of Taraba State. Reacting to the development, the police operatives attached to Asakio Division launched a manhunt for the abductors. Consequently, on Friday, 14th April, the operatives came in contact with the abductors, with 3 of them were neutralized, 1 was arrested, and the victim rescued unhurt. Number of firearms and ammunition were recovered from the suspects. Yobe State government has condemned in strongest terms the killing of 10 persons by suspected Boko Haram insurgents in Bunigari, Gujuba local government area. with a charge on security agencies to set up clearance operations to get rid of marauding terrorists in some parts of the state. This was at a sympathy visit to Bunigari community by a high-powered Yobe State government delegation led by the Deputy Governor of the state, Yunusa Suleiman, tells us more.
The Yobe State government delegation led by the State Deputy Governor, Idi Badrugubana, was in Bunigari to sympathize with the community over the murder of 10 persons in cold blood by suspected insurgents. The deceased met their untimely death when 3 of them went to fetch firewood in a nearby bush but were ambushed by suspected Boko Haram insurgents, killing 2 out of them while 1 escaped with life-threatening injuries. This ugly development necessitated their relatives to team up and embark on a mission to recover bodies of the deceased, and upon reaching the scene, they were also ambushed by the assailants, killing 8 of them. The leader of the delegation, who condemns the attack on innocent citizens on behalf of the state government, also advised locals to desist from going to areas considered too risky for the civil population.
Because as we learned, just 3 kilometers away from this village is a no-go area. That means people may not allow to go to their farms. So we are appealing on the high authority of the military to double more effort, to get more instruments, weapons to the military, to enable them to flush out the remnants of the Boko Haram.
As the injured are responding to medical treatment at the State Specialist Hospital, Damaturu, the families of the deceased were supported with food, clothing and cash to lessen their hardships. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA.
Now let's take more reports from our correspondents in the field in the supplementary election to set the tone for our conversation. Supplementary elections conducted in 24 states were adjudged to be peaceful and in most cases started early. Thimotu Yusuf monitored the exercise and reports.
The saying that it is not yet over until it is finally over is the scenario that played out across 24 states in the country. Supplementary governorship elections in Adamawa and Kebbi states, 5 senatorial districts, 31 federal constituencies, and 58 state assembly constituencies. For the second time, after the February 25 and March 18, 2023 polls, the electorate came out to decide the fate of the affected states, where elections were declared inconclusive.
Prior to today, the supplementary elections was announced that it would be holding on the 15th of April, and the state office here has been prepared. And today there are 2 constituencies that are affected. One is a state constituency, which is Ogbea 2, which has 4 wards and 94 polling units, and of course Satan Ijo federal constituencies, which about 6 wards were affected with 32 polling units.
We have enough securities on ground to avoid the reoccurrence of what happened during the first election.
While the electoral umpire, INEC, has already restated commitment to a credible election, the electorate expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the polls.
A lot of people have come out to exercise their franchise, and everybody is going about the election peacefully. There is no any issue of violence.
Results of the elections are expected to be announced and declared by INEC. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Election observers in Adamawa State have commended the conduct of the supplementary election in the state. They stated this while assessing the conduct of the exercise in Yola North local government area of Adamawa State. Yusuf Jika reports.
Supplementary election in Adamawa State has been conducted in 69 polling units in the 20 local government areas of the state. In all the polling units visited, the election is being conducted in an orderly manner without any rancor. The biometric voter accreditation system BVAS was effective, and INEC officials were humbly attending to the electorates with security agents on ground to ensure orderliness. Election observers were also not left out, as they have been visiting polling units to observe the exercise.
From what we see from eyewitness is that the conduct of the election is under peaceful and fair atmosphere, and it is in compliance with the 2022 Electoral Act.
Some of the voters expressed satisfaction on the process of the election.
I cast my vote successfully. There is no any problem. So our expectation, we have to finish this election peacefully and announce peacefully.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
And my guest is Festus Okoye, Commissioner, Information and Voter Education. He's joining us from Kebbi State, one of the battle states for the governorship seats declared inconclusive in the March 25th state elections. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Like our correspondent said, some are smiling, some are waiting with lots of expectations as collation begins and results begin to come out. Let's have your assessment of the supplementary election so far and how prepared was INEC?
Well, we prepared for this election. As you are aware, this supplementary election is taking place in so many states of the Federation. Now, we have two governorship supplementary elections in Nigeria, and this is in Adamawa State and in Kebbi State. Now, we also have senatorial supplementary election in 5 senatorial districts, 3 in Sokoto State, 1 in Zamfara, and also 1 in Kebbi. And then we have so many federal constituency elections and state constituency elections. Now, what is remarkable about this particular supplementary election is the fact that in almost all the places where we had supplementary election, the deployment was top-notch. We deployed to all the constituencies and all the polling units before first light on Saturday. Secondly, we have not received any adverse report on BVAS malfunction, so the BVAS performed optimally. We also had the complement of different security agencies, and they deployed well. So I think that the supplementary election has gone well, and our preparation was very good.
Let's talk about sort of a mixed breed of voter participation, large turnout in some areas, low in some, like Port Harcourt. Why do you think that happened?
I didn't quite get you.
Well, I'm talking about the voter participation, the electorates coming out to vote, large turnout in some areas, low turnout in places like Port Harcourt. Why do you think that happened?
Well, I'm really not in a position to make that determination. All I know is that in Kebbi State, the turnout was quite impressive. The turnout of women was really, really impressive. And in all the places where we went to, they conducted themselves in a manner befitting of the electoral process. As an electoral management body, we went out to make sure that in all the polling units where we had supplementary election, that the voters are properly sensitized and that they understood the electoral process. But ultimately, the main responsibility of getting out the votes resides with the various political parties contesting the election. So I think that it depends on the way people view the election. In places like Adamawa and in places like Kebbi, where we have a governorship election, there was mass mobilization and the turnout was quite impressive. But in a few other places where we had just a state constituency election, the turnout was not too impressive. But I think that if you put it on a scale, generally, I think the turnout in all the states of the Federation was impressive.
From where you are, which is Kebbi, how did you gauge the mood of the voters? And were there cases of voter intimidation or violence? We hear that it's happened in some areas, including Kebbi, where you are. Is that true?
No, I didn't get that.
We're talking about where you are, the mood of the voters when they came out to vote. Expectations were high, and we hear there were cases of voter intimidation or violence, some in the places that you are, like in Kebbi State.
Well, I went to three local governments. I was in the state capital in Birnin Kebbi. I also went to Cargo local government and I also went to Bunza local government. In all these places, you could see it was like a carnival. Even those who did not have election turned out to come and witness what was going on, to come and watch those who were voting, and also to come and enjoy the ambience of the voting process. So it was really impressive. Yes, there were just one or two minor cases of violence, which was quickly addressed. But on the whole, the election has been very, very peaceful, especially in Kebbi State. And I really want to commend the people of this state for the way they conducted themselves. They conducted themselves in a manner befitting of our democracy and also befitting of our electoral process. And they were also vigilant. They were patient. They sat back and listened to all the sorting of the votes, the counting of the votes, and the entering of the votes into from EC8A. So I think it was very good.
Okay, Mr. Festus Okoye, I'm not letting you go now. You have to hold on. We'll take a break. When we return, our conversation will continue.
Never again should this happen. We have passed through this path before, and it was not good for us. I remember the horror, the crime, the blood, dead bodies everywhere. I almost lost my mind. I could not sleep. I remember the cry of innocent children. Many lives were changed forever. We shall never go through that path again. Let us all stand in solidarity with our armed forces, our men and women. All we must stand in truth, in honesty, to build a vibrant nation, a nation that you and I can be proud of.
Rely on GoTV to make things a little easier. Upgrade to the next package and we'll boost you to a higher package for free. GoTV. Love it.
Come to the National Center for Women Development, a home away from home. With our beautifully renovated hotel, the center can also boast of a 1,700-seater auditorium for conferences. The edifice has an African, continental, and Arabian restaurants, a daycare crèche for nursing mothers. There is also an ICT department for computer training, and also a training department for catering, tailoring, and hairdressing. For more information, please contact the National Center for Women Development, Tafawa Balewa Way, opposite the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN headquarters, Central District Area, Abuja, or telephone 070-511-1163. National Center for Women Development, rebranding, restructuring, and repositioning.
A body has been found, possibly a child.
I think I have something.
I think it's a ritual murder.
Stop!
Oh, that's the council's name. So what do we know about this so-called senior court members?
It appears their real strength lies in the members now in government, judiciary, business, and the police.
Now this is getting interesting.
You're welcome back. The supplementary election in Kebbi State has been conducted successfully with counting and collation still in progress. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
The supplementary elections in Kebbi State is that of governorship, 1 Senate seat, 2 House of Representatives, and 8 House of Assembly. In all the centers visited, the exercise commenced on schedule, 8:30 in the morning, because all the materials have been distributed a day before. National INEC officials were in the state to monitor the exercise. Because of the massive turnout of the electorate, voting did not end at 2:30 p.m. but extended till 6:30 p.m. in most polling unit visited.
We are just hoping that people will run and also behave very well so that the election is done peacefully and all over.
Massive presence of security, unarmed security personnel really assisted in ensuring a level playing field.
Sorting and counting is, however, still ongoing, with the hope that collation will be completed before the daybreak. From Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has again cancelled the supplementary election into Ikono-Ini Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. The state's resident electoral commissioner Cyril Omarogbe at a media briefing in Uyo said the exercise was marred with thuggery and violence just when the collation of result was commencing.
They didn't snag the beavers. At about 12, I had about 10 polling units out of 17 that had been disrupted. The commission went there to conduct election. Okay, and the people of Ikono, perhaps the people that were involved that actually decided to disrupt that process. We had even more at this, on this election. And but then, what do you do when people are, perhaps bent on making sure, disrupting whatever it is, the process? They went there to do the same thing again in terms of disruption and, perhaps even shooting at an individual that was there, a youth copper. And at the end, at this point, that election actually is technically cancelled. That's the word.
Clement Barrique reports that the supplementary election was held in 17 polling units across Ikono-Ini Federal Constituency. And I'm bringing my guest, Festus Okoye, National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education. He's joining us from Kebbi. Mr. Festus, you had this report that I just took in Akwa Ibom, a case of thuggery, disruption in the election. And we also have reports reaching us that in Shuni, that is in Sokoto State, election took place, was concluded while collation of result was going on. Somebody came in and tore up the result sheet, and there was, scramble everywhere. The police fired shots into the air, and voters dispersed. In your opinion, in this case of disruption in elections in some places, will there be supplementary elections? Another one.
This commission will not conduct a supplementary after a supplementary election.
So what will happen now?
It is very clear that there must be a conclusion. There must be a conclusion to this election. So the national commissioner is in Sokoto, and there's an administrative secretary in Sokoto. So all of them will put heads together and take a decision. But we are not going to have a supplementary after a supplementary election. So there must be a conclusion to this process.
You mean voting will take place again in these areas that voting, collation of the result was disrupted? Is that what you mean?
I'm not sure voting will take place in those places, but the supervising national commissioner who is in Sokoto and the administrative secretary and other directing staff will take a position on that. But I'm not too sure that any further supplementary election will take place because we are not going to have a supplementary after a supplementary.
Okay, with issues like this, rearing its head all the time, thuggery, voter intimidation, vote buying and all that, what is the role of voter education and sensitization in this regard?
I didn't get your question.
I said voter intimidation, thuggery, and destruction of materials, INEC materials, keeps rearing its head in elections in Nigeria. What is the role of voter education and sensitization in this regard?
No, I think that the media should also take some form of responsibility in this area. You must call out those who intimidate voters. You must call out those who unleash violence on voters, you must call out those who buy votes. You must also name and shame them. But when you treat electoral malfeasance with some kid gloves, it keeps on recycling itself. So I believe that the moment we begin to call out those who buy votes, call out those who engage in voter intimidation, and also call out those who engage in all forms of electoral malpractices, our democracy will be better for it. But if we treat them with kid gloves, impunity will continue to recycle itself. The Commission does not have a police force. The Commission does not have the military. The Commission does not have any form of security. So the responsibility of making sure that crimes are not committed at the vicinity of the polling units does not reside with the Independent National Electoral Commission. Our remit is to conduct elections, our remit is to organize elections, and our remit is to supervise elections. So we must find ways and means of making sure that those who try to disrupt our electoral process and bring our electoral process to disrepute are proceeded against. And that is why we must move quickly and get on board the Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal that we take charge of the arrest, investigation and prosecution of electoral offenders. That is the only way we can break the cycle of impunity in this country.
Indeed, Mr. Festus Okoye, all hands must be on deck to ensure that we have a seamless election process in Nigeria. Now, you are sitting in the coalition, hall in Kebbi State. When are we expecting results from Adamawa and Kebbi governorship supplementary election?
Well, there are various levels of supplementary election. We have 8 state constituency supplementary elections, and we are confident that any moment from now, some of those results will be declared at the state constituency level. We also have federal constituency elections, and we are confident that the results from those places will be declared. Are you hearing me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
It's on hold.
Go on. I can hear you. Mr. Festus Okoye, I can hear you. Can you just continue what you're saying?
I can't hear you.
Continue. Just continue what you're saying. Continue with your response. When are we expecting results from Adamawa and Kebbi State governorship supplementary election?
I can't hear you clearly.
Oh, the problem there with the audio. We take a break. That is the Festus Okoye, National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education. He joined us from Kebbi State, one of the battle states for the governorship seats declared inconclusive in the March 25th state election. Thank you so much, Mr. Festus Okoye, for your contribution to this conversation. You're appreciated. The news continues shortly.
REFAN is the umbrella association of the over 12 million Nigerian rice farmers. Through the administration of good and quality extension services, the Nigerian rice farmer has imbibed good agronomic practices, as a result of which the average yield per hectare, which used to be 1 ton as at 2015, is today 5 metric tons. This has resulted to the increase of the national production from 3 million per annum to 9 million tons per annum. As a result of this, today Nigeria is the largest producer of rice in Africa. Since the beginning of 2015, or the beginning of Anko-Bora program, Nigeria has officially not imported any rice into the country. All these successes could not have been achieved without the political will of Mr. President.
They are real. They are the drama queens of Abuja.
If you're not real, you will be consumed, okay?
Stop calling me Mom Joe. You're fucking at me.
We have an intruder in the house. The meter of the disgrace is rising. You're old.
Who said I need deliverance? Ha! Deliverance!
It wasn't me. She got me on the wasn't me. Alpha pulled me aside for a chat. No.
The Real Housewives of Abuja, only on Showmax.
To watch this and other Showmax originals, simply add Showmax to your DSTV subscription using the My DSTV app.
You're welcome back. I hear that my guest, Festus Okoye, National Commissioner of Information and Voter Education, is still waiting, to say something. Mr. Festus, did you get my last question?
No, I didn't get your last question.
Yes, my last question is, when are we expecting results on the governorship supplementary elections from Adamawa and Kebbi State? I see you are seated down in the collation hall. And when are you expecting the results? When will it start trickling in?
Well, we are expecting that we will start maybe around 11 o'clock today.
Okay, around 11 o'clock. So what is your final thoughts on the supplementary election as a whole? We seem to have lost him there again. Let's join our sports desk for sports update with Bade Adele.
The 2023 Under-17 National Cricket Championship is underway in Abuja, with talented players from the 6 geopolitical zones expected to be discovered in the male and female categories. The competition also provides winners with the opportunity to represent Nigeria in age-grade international championships.
This partnership has not only taken us to where it has taken us to as a federation, but more importantly is that it has taken these young boys and girls off the streets, helping them to find a life through sports.
In the Nigeria Professional Football League match, the 14 encounter played Saturday, Nasarawa United were held to win or draw by Gombe United at the New Jos Township Stadium. Usman Abbas opened scoring for the home side before Francis Ayana equalized to ensure spoils were shared. In the English Premier League, Manchester City produced a sparkling performance to defeat Leicester City 3-1 at the Etihad and keep pace with Arsenal. Aston Villa put in an impressive display to see off Newcastle United 3-0. Tottenham Hotspur missed the chance to move level on points with third-place Newcastle after losing 3-2 against relegation battling Bournemouth, while Brighton came from behind to beat Chelsea 2-1, with Wolves defeating Brentford 2-0. And finally to tennis, Britain missed out on a spot in the Billie Jean King Cup finals after a comprehensive 3-1 defeat to France in their two-day qualifier. And Kothavone's team entered Saturday's matches with a 2-0 deficit to try to overturn from Friday, where Caroline Garcia and Alice Cornet beat Katie Bruta and Harriet Dart respectively. Dart tried to avenge Bruta's defeat to Garcia in the first battle of the day, but the world number 5 recovered from a second set blip to triumph 6-1, 6-7, 6-1. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
Of the former Surveyor General of the Federation, Professor Peter Nwilo, have been laid to rest at his hometown, Adezi Nuku, in Anocha local government area of Anambra State. Onome Okadibo has the details.
Born in 1954, late Professor Chiagozie Peter Nwilo's journey on earth was described as impactful. As a devoted Christian, his funeral service was at St. Joseph the Walker Catholic Church, Adazinuku, and the homily for the day, Reverend Father Sebastian Anokolu, said Christians should not yield to societal pressure but stand firm in truth.
Peter has been an upright and a righteous man. I know he left a good legacy.
Done with the requiem mass, his body was interred at his family compound.
Very honest man. He was very selfless. For him, it was about education was anything he could give a child.
Amazing father. He was a mentor. He was a very loving man.
To have earned that appointment, it meant that he had all the qualities I mentioned here, and it was so good.
Late Professor Chiagozie Peter Nwilo served in different capacity. He was a lecturer at the University of Lagos and also served as Surveyor General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria from 2011 to 2015, among others. He is survived by wife, children, and host of other relations. From Adazinuku, Onome Okadibo, NTA News.
And that is the end of Week in File for this week. But before we go, remember that the National Population Census is 18 days to go. you count, be counted. And remember, NTA is here to give you the result as they come in, hot and spicy. Thanks so much for watching. I am Jummai Yusuf.